So, you've tried every self-help book on the planet. You've manifested, you've Marie Kondo'd, you've cold plunged, and yet somehow your life is still a spectacular disaster. Shocking. But what if I told you the problem isn't you? Introducing Fiction Masters Academy, the world's first and only self-improvement institution staffed entirely by fictional characters. Because why take advice from people who actually have accomplished things when you could learn from people who've been accomplishing impossible things in impossible worlds? Of course, our investors have had some concerns. Things like, these people aren't real, and this is clearly a money laundering scheme. But that's just what the establishment wants you to think. Now, let's take a tour of our 6 essential life skill departments. I'm Nick, this is DrCrankyPantsReads, and parents, prospective students, please stay together on our tour. Some of our faculty have unusual teaching methods, and by unusual, you should probably sign a waiver. Yeah? Okay, come on. Welcome to Fiction Masters Academy, where we believe self-improvement should be wildly impractical, but deeply entertaining. Before we begin, a special thanks to our Director of Admissions, Alan from Alan Reads, who created this initiative, tagged me for enrollment, and therefore is entirely responsible for whatever happens next. What do you mean? That's, no, unacceptable. Why do we pay lawyers? I'm being told Alan is not responsible for what happens next legally, but we will be talking about this after the parents go away. Now, let's meet our faculty, a group of literary overachievers who will absolutely change your life, though possibly not for the better. Our first instructor is head of linguistics, specializing in language efficiency, reality adjustments, and ensuring your words never cause problems. Prospective students, follow me and please choose your next sentence carefully. Our linguistics department exists at the very cutting edge of language efficiency. Language optimization. Professor Winston Smith leads our flagship course, Newspeak, Efficiency Through Vocabulary Reduction. One student writes, since taking this course, my vocabulary has smallened, and now my thoughts are Doubleplusgood, which is great, absolutely great, absolutely no concerns here. This program is ideal for students pursuing careers in government, corporate communications, and social media moderation, all of which are valuable and good professions that never alter reality in any way possible. But the real benefit of Newspeak, it removes the burden of excessive expression. Why waste time with nuance when you could compress entire thoughts into pre-approved, government-sanctioned phrases? Professor Smith's curriculum covers essential modern communication strategies, including bureaucratic brilliance, how to say nothing while sounding important, doublethink for professionals, believing 2 opposing ideas with complete confidence, and mandatory optimism, why challenging is the only adjective you're allowed to use for bad news. And if you're looking to increase cognitive harmony and become an efficient communicator, I highly Okay, actually, I think I've said enough. Next department, moving on. In an uncertain world, survival skills are a must, and no one has mastered survival skills like someone who has mastered survival skills for a long time? Professor LaRue. Yes, right. Professor LaRue offers our flagship course, Immortal Survival, preparing for every possible future. One student writes, after surviving After surviving this course, I have realized my apartment's poor Wi-Fi no longer qualifies as an emergency. Right. Definitely helpful. Definitely ringing testimonials here, folks. Super relevant, really practical. We're preparing your kids to take over the world. Yeah. Professor LaRue's expertise comes from centuries, which means her curriculum includes how to adapt to any historical period without getting burned as a witch, disappearing gracefully, or how to leave a party, a town, or a century without a trace. The long game, outlasting trends, governments, and everyone you've ever loved. Wow, wait, what is this professor's name again? That's weird. I could have sworn. Anyway, this course is designed for students looking to develop adaptability across centuries, which is incredibly useful if you ever need to blend into a collapsing society or just some really awkward networking event. I swear I was just thinking about someone. Am I that old? Anyway, I think we should move on. Come on, students. This way, before we lose more. Now, fine dining is an essential life skill, and no one understands presentation quite like Professor Patrick Bateman. His course, Power Dining, Intimidation Through Culinary Perfection, teaches students how to prepare meals that are less about flavor and more about establishing dominance. Because nothing says I'm in charge like a dinner guest too afraid to comment on the seasoning. Also, why is there not a single menu anywhere in this kitchen? There are a lot of business cards, all in very specific colors with very specific fonts. Right, of course there's no menu, just business cards, lots and lots of business cards, because Bateman insists that plating is a power move, monologuing is essential, and the correct number of steak knives per place setting is unsettlingly high. His most popular workshop, Obsessive Plating and Unnerving Eye Contact, guarantees that by the time you finish describing your dish, the guests will be too intimidated to critique it. Other course offerings include the Alpha Omelet, establishing dominance before the entree even arrives, knife skills, the importance of letting people know you have them, and the perfect business card. Sorry, menu. I've got some student recommendations here that I'd like to share. One student writes, after Chef Bateman's class, I can now prepare a steak so precisely that my dinner guests feel deeply uncomfortable. That's fine. That's fine. That's probably fine. But, oh, look! Professor Bateman left me a gift for me. That's so generous. That's so generous. I will absolutely cherish this and definitely not put it in a locked safe. Bateman's culinary philosophy is that every meal should be memorable, preferably because your guests are never quite sure if they should be afraid. I love that. I love that. Okay, we're leaving right now. Follow. In today's fast-paced world, mindfulness is essential. Our students need strategies to quiet their minds, embrace the present, and find true inner peace. At Fiction Masters Academy, we pride ourselves on a diverse range of mindfulness approaches. Some cultivate gratitude, others focus on breath work. And then there's Professor Holden Caulfield. Professor Caulfield leads our flagship course, Anti-Meditation, Finding Peace Through Complaining, which is less about calming the mind and more about aggressively judging everything around you until your expectations are so low, nothing can disappoint you anymore. His technique is, shall we say, unconventional, but that's the kind of pedagogical innovation you get when you come to this institution. His core belief, true relaxation, comes from accepting that everything is fake, nobody gets it, and inner peace is just another capitalist scam. Some highlights from the curriculum: Zen and the art of deeply resentful sighing, meditation through aimless wandering, finding yourself, then immediately hating it, and radical disengagement, the life-changing magic of ignoring people who annoy you. A student writes, I used to stress about being likable. Now, thanks to Professor Caulfield, I actively cultivate an air of dissatisfied superiority. My therapist hates it. 5 stars. Fantastic. Moving on, prospective students, keep up. If you spend too much time in this classroom, you'll find yourself existentially exhausted for the rest of the day. Our self-defense program focuses on unconventional protection techniques led by Professor Miss Havisham. Professor Havisham's revolutionary course, Psychological Warfare Through Interior Design, teaches students that physical combat is unnecessary when you can paralyze an attacker with sheer emotional weight. Weaponized disappointment trains students in deploying cutting remarks with surgical precision. One student writes, "I haven't physically defended myself once, but my apartment makes people too anxious to attack me. Also, my bitter monologues have cleared 3 subway cars." It's effective, I guess. For students interested in applied self-defense techniques, Professor Havisham also offers setting expectations so low that no one can ever disappoint you again, as well as turning heartbreak into a full-time job. And last but not least, dramatic waiting, the art of wasting an attacker's time until they give up. Professor Havisham has never arrived on time to any faculty meeting, but somehow makes everyone else feel late. That's the kind of psychological power we teach here. Okay, moving on. Let's go, students. Here at Fiction Masters Academy, we understand that personal growth is essential. But why stop at self-improvement when you can simply fabricate an entirely new, vastly more impressive identity? And that's why we offer one of our most exclusive electives, Reinvention through elaborate backstory, taught by none other than Professor J. Gatsby himself. In this transformational course, students will master the art of self-invention, including the art of the strategic omission, because no one needs to know everything about you, lavish parties as reputation building tools. The best way to ensure people talk about you is to create an environment where they're desperate to be invited back, and deliberate accents and vague geographic origins. Why say you're from Minnesota when you could suggest that you once studied philosophy in Vienna? And of course, chasing the past until it destroys you, advanced studies. I should mention, Professor Gatsby himself is rarely available for direct instruction. Most of his office hours are spent staring wistfully across the campus at the economics department, where Professor Daisy Buchanan was last seen 5 semesters ago. But that's part of the curriculum! Because in this course, students learn that sometimes the idea of your goal is more important than the actual reality of it. Also, no one has ever successfully scheduled a meeting with him. This way. Follow me out to the courtyard. And so, that concludes our tour of Fiction Masters Academy, where you too can achieve questionable self-improvement under the guidance of completely unqualified literary figures. For a limited time, we're offering our Platinum Existential Membership, 12 simple payments that will financially ruin you. But it's worth it, because in return, you will gain a totally new identity. Terms and conditions apply. A profound sense of existential dread, courtesy of Professor Caulfield. And a fully optimized newspeak vocabulary, ensuring you can say absolutely nothing with maximum efficiency. And a deep-seated fear of accidentally offending Miss Havisham. So what are you waiting for? If reality has disappointed you, perhaps it's time to try unreality. Oh, is that Miss Havisham at the punch bowl? We should evacuate. I appreciate you. I hope life is good, and you know how you can make your life the best? By enrolling at Fiction Masters Academy today. Miss Havisham!